Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is my John Deere GX75 and I need to do some maintenance on it. Now rather than crawling around on the ground, I decided to make these wheel cribs. Now most of the time these are used for cars, but I figured why not make some for my lawnmower? Anyway, let me show you how I made them. The first thing I did was I needed to find out how long I need to make these wheel cribs. And the way I did that is I put two 2x4s, one in front, one in back of the front wheel, and took a measurement. And it looks like 14.5 is the length I need. Then I needed to measure the width of the wheel. It looks like 6 inches is the way to go. Moving to the back, I use the same process, and it looks like 17 inches is what I need. And lastly, for the rear width, looks like 8 inches is the way to go. This pile of 2x4s you see on my workbench are drops from other projects. This is what I use to make the cribs. Then I laid out several pieces to see how many I would need and see what the height would be. And it turns out I need 14 2x4s to make the crib, and it's going to be 10.5 inches tall. So just to recap, the size of the front is going to be 6.5 inches wide and 14.5 inches long. I'm going to need 14 6-inch boards and 14 14.5 inches boards. For the rear, it's going to be 8 inches by 17 inches. I'll need 14 boards that are 8 inches and 14 boards that are 17 inches. On my miter saw, I created a stop fence with marks at 6 inches, 8 inches, 14.5 inches, and 17 inches. It's just a piece of scrap, and it's fastened with 2 screws from the back. For the stop block, I just use a piece of 2x4 and a C-clamp. I set the stop block at 17 and start cutting boards. I cut the first one and then speed through the rest. For all you Star Wars fans, today is May the 4th. And when I sped up the miter saw, it sounded like there was a blaster fight going on. I then repositioned the stop block to 14.5. Cut the first board, more blaster fighting. I repositioned the stop block to 8 inches to cut the 8-inch boards. And lastly, I repositioned my stop block to 6 inches and cut the remaining boards. And the last bit of blaster fighting. Back over on the bench, I stacked the boards upside down so I can assemble them. I pre-drilled holes with a 1/8 inch drill bit, then used number 10 2.5 inch screws. And there you have it, the first crib completed. And it's very sturdy. I then assembled the second crib and I sped up the video. Wish I could build it this fast. Two down and two to go. Let's move on to the big ones. I set up the boards for the larger one and then started. As I got to the second row, tragedy struck, and you can hear my reaction. Oh no! That's okay, we can work around it. So I removed the rest of the drill bit from the drill. Then I grabbed my side cutters to remove the remaining drill bit from the wood. I tried very carefully to remove the drill bit, not putting too much force on it. And guess what happened? The bit snapped. Now the bit's stuck in the wood. I got a nail that's about the same size as the drill bit and used my hammer and drove out the drill bit. Then I removed the nail . Got another drill bit, size it up to match the screw, and we're back in action. One of the large cribs is done. Now on to the last one. And then I repeat the same process for the last one. And there you have it. All 4 cribs are built now. Unfortunately, this one is not sturdy. There must have been a warped board in the stack. That's okay. We can fix it. Here I'm testing where I need to remove material to make this more sturdy. I'm using my grinder with the 80 grit sand disc on it. I made the mistake of doing this inside because it created a ton of dust. Note to self, do this outside. And after a few passes with the grinder and testing it every once in a while, this thing is now really solid. After all 4 cribs are built, this is what's left over. Most of these pieces are so small, I'm not going to keep them. This video wouldn't be complete without putting these to the test. So I jack up the lawnmower and rest it on the cribs. And I have to say, these are very steady. Thanks for watching.